With the COVID-19 pandemic making an impact worldwide, you may be wondering just how U.S. beef exports have been affected. Well, through the first couple of months of 2020, U.S. beef exports were gaining ground, especially in Asian markets. In fact, total U.S. beef sales overseas were up 11% through the end of February. Now let's get the very latest information on beef trade from the CEO of the U.S. Meat Export Federation, Dan Halstrom, who joins us from Denver today. And Dan, as always, we appreciate you joining us here on Cattleman to Cattleman. Let's jump right into it. What's been happening here of late with U.S. beef exports as the COVID-19 crisis has deepened?
Yeah, thank you, Russell, and a pleasure to be here today. Yes, we're off to a good start in 2020 through 2 months. And just to give a little bit of history, 2019 turned out to be the second largest year ever for beef exports at about 8.1 billion in sales. We're off to a very good start with all our major markets, honestly, Japan, Korea, China, Hong Kong, as well as Mexico. And it's exciting stuff because we expected it with Japan, but we got some other markets doing very well as well. The Japan-U.S. ag agreement was a big plus, and we're seeing dividends there. And in fact, we just finished our spring forecast for the year, and we're estimating to be up significantly for a new record in 2020 at approximately 8.6 billion in sales this year.
Dan, of course, we were set for a big opportunity to ship U.S. beef to China this year. Is the Chinese market showing any signs of picking up?
Yes, without a doubt. In fact, you look at China, and there's a few other countries, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and even Korea. They are exiting the eye of the storm in terms of COVID impact. We're seeing restaurants reopen, the food service business. It's not normal, but I like to say it's on the path back to normal. And so we're starting to see more activity there. And of course, the retail side, similar to what's happened in the US, the retail side's been booming. So yes, I think the China market in particular, but several of those other markets are showing a lot of promise, and demand is very, very good right now. We're very optimistic, especially in Southeast Asia, going forward into the late spring and early summer.
Of course, Japan is still our #1 market for U.S. beef. What kind of progress are we making there since our most recent trade agreement gave us a more level playing field?
Yeah, this was the biggest news of 2019, in my opinion, for beef. Getting that Japan-U.S. ag agreement phase 1, which included agriculture, included beef, getting us on a level playing field on a couple of fronts, but the most important one being similar duty for the impound duty rate with our competition. So instead of being at a 13% disadvantage with Australia, we are even. So I think this is phenomenal news. When we get on an even playing field, U.S. beef will win. And we're already seeing through 2 months of statistics and a third one expected here soon. For the first quarter of this year, we will be up 10% or more into Japan. And the exciting thing about that is we're seeing progress in all segments. We're seeing it in, of course, the retail. We're seeing it on the e-commerce segment. We're seeing it even in institutional side of things. So between being on a level playing field and, of course, Australia at the moment is tight on numbers, those things combined, we're set up very well in Japan to make a big impact on regaining share in 2020.
And finally, Dan, with COVID-19, for most producers, the focus has mainly been on the U.S. markets. How has U.S. MEF worked to adjust to the new realities in some other countries?
Well, I think it's like everyone's dealing with. We're in a new normal. To assume status quo is a big mistake. We are in a different time, a different age, so we have to be creative, we have to be innovative. And one of the areas we're seeing a lot of progress on, even at food service, throughout the world, places like Korea, places like Mexico, is the online delivery platforms. And, a lot of these food service restaurant chains, we do a lot of business around the world on beef with them. They're adapting. They can't have any or minimal sit-down diners, so they're adapting to online platforms where we're delivering either takeout or you're delivering to the home, or actually the really interesting thing in China has been delivering to a common point or a common place that's outdoors. You know, you have apartment buildings in Shanghai that might house 10,000 people, and they don't want a lot of delivery people walking through, you know, these apartment complexes. So you have a common point outside, and a lot of delivery is to this common point. And it's all very easy. It's very much online. You order on your phone and you can pick it up at the common point within an hour. So this is a sort of innovation that's that the new time that we're in has driven. And I think this sort of innovation will be here to stay. When we get back to normal, whatever normal will be, you know, retail will continue to be strong, online will continue to be strong, and we will see a rebound in the food service on some levels. So I think we're set up very well for growth in the future.
All right, thanks a lot, Dan, for joining us here on Cattleman to Cattleman, and of course sharing your insight into how COVID-19 has impacted export markets and the opportunities that still exist.
Thank you, Russell. Pleasure.
To find out more about U.S. beef export trends and market opportunities, visit the website usmef.org.